Hello, welcome back. It's somehow already our 9th episode of Bookshelf Brilliance, where timeless knowledge meets modern insight. Thank you as always for joining us. We're so happy to have you here. I love being your companion during your workout, on your commute to work, or wherever it is that you listen to us from. As a reminder, I'm Vincent Monteleone, your host. And if you haven't already, please take a moment to subscribe to us wherever it is that you get podcasts and maybe give us a rating and leave a nice comment. That would be greatly appreciated. And while you're moseying around on your phone, why don't you head on over to Instagram and follow us at bookshelf_brilliance. Now that we got all that out of the way, let's get started on Chapter 6 of Part 2 from How to Win Friends and Influence People. This is the last part of Part 2, which focused on the 6 ways to make people like you. And that 6th chapter is on how to make people like you instantly. Buckle up and let's start the show. Mark Twain once said, "Kindness is a language which the deaf can hear and the blind can see." And Gandhi told us to be the change you wish to see in the world. Mother Teresa echoed, "Kind words can be short and easy to speak, but their echoes are truly endless." And of course, we all know we can catch more flies with honey than we can with vinegar. So next time you are out and about, even when you don't want anything in return, especially when you don't want anything in return, as we're trying to make this a habit, find something in a stranger that you're dealing with. Maybe it's the waitress at the diner, or it's, the gentleman working behind the counter at the post office. Find something you can compliment them on. Maybe it's their hair. Maybe you just appreciate how attentive they were while taking your order. Whatever. Let them know it. Let us not be so selfish that we can't radiate a little happiness and pass on some honest appreciation to others. As this goes back to the all-important law of human conduct. Always make the other person feel important. Philosophers have been speculating on the rules of human relationships for thousands of years, and out of all that speculation, there has evolved only one important precept. It is not new. It has been echoed throughout history by all famous names that we all know. Zoroaster taught it to his followers in Persia 2,500 years ago. Confucius preached it in China 24 centuries ago. Lao Tzu, the founder of Taoism, taught it to his disciples in the valley of the Han. Buddha preached it on the bank of the holy Ganges 500 years before Christ. The sacred books of Hinduism taught it among the stony hills of Judea 19 centuries ago. Jesus summed it up in one thought, probably the most important rule in the world. Do unto others as you would have others do unto you. How, when, where should we do this? All the time and everywhere. We all crave sincere appreciation, and it has lasting effects on our soul and our being after it is bestowed upon us. Therefore, we can treat ourselves by treating others. We can work magic with it every single day. Little courtesies like, "Would you be so kind as to?" Or, "Can I trouble you for? I know you're busy, but I really appreciate you giving me your time." These are the oils in the cogs of the monotonous grind of the day-to-day. And these little phrases can change the impact that you have on others, as you will make them feel important. We all crave the sincere appreciation of others. We all love it when someone makes us feel important, makes us feel as if a task could not have been completed unless we got involved, that we were an integral part in the team. It's why we strive to be a great leader and get that C on our jersey. We want the status that comes with being the captain, even if being the captain of the team doesn't come with a pay raise, right? At work, we want to be deemed the lead of our project, even again, if it doesn't come with an immediate pay raise. We like that status of being invited to present to the leadership team, to the steering committee, to executives from other departments. If this SVP who runs your department invites you to speak at a meeting with other SVPs across the organization, think about the status they are bestowing upon you, the importance they are giving you. You feel like a rock star, and it will show in your work because it gives it the credence and the credit that you feel it deserves. And now you know you're having an impact, maybe far greater than what your title shows. As parents, we can do this with our children by making them feel important, by trusting them with little jobs and increasing the responsibility they have with household chores. I know my daughter loves to help me take clothes out of the dryer or help her mother fold clothes, and we allow her to do this even though it makes the job take a lot longer for us, right? Sometimes they're making more of a mess or they just take longer to do things. But the importance that we're bestowing on this little girl, we hope it has the impact that Dale is preaching in this chapter. It's very similar to the placebo effect, as you can change somebody's life by making them feel important. Bestow that status on them with titles, with responsibility, with giving them your trust to handle a task. Think about that first time, your parents let you do something that generally they would only be able to do. Maybe it was something as silly as, being the one to put the star on top of the Christmas tree. Dad always did that, Mom always did that, Grandma always did that, whoever always did that. But they trusted you to get up on that ladder and put that star on there. We can do this with our conversations as well. And I'm not talking about flattery, right? People see right through that. But genuine, sincere appreciation and admiration towards someone else. Maybe, in most cases it's somebody who's maybe, superior to you. And I'm doing air quotes around superior, but maybe there's someone who's where you want to be. And you get a chance to get in front of them. Draw them out with further questions. Listen, absorb, and then spit it right back out at them. Let them know that you appreciate and you understand that nothing was given to them and that they worked hard to get there, and you want to learn from them because you want to be sitting in their chair one day. I guarantee you they will be more comfortable giving you their time. Carnegie tells us many stories through the chapter of where this happened, and I'm going to talk about one of them in particular. George Eastman of Kodak fame, the guy who invented the transparent film that made motion pictures possible. If you're my age, you remember going to the back of Kmart or wherever to get your film developed. This was the guy that made all that possible. Obviously, this made him very wealthy, had a net worth in the hundreds of millions, and he was one of the most famous businessmen on Earth. In some of his non-Kodak endeavors, he was building the Eastman School of Music and also Kilburn Hall in Rochester. The president of the Superior Seating Company of New York, James Adamson, wanted to get the order to supply these buildings with their chairs. And through favors, he got himself an appointment with George Eastman. When Adamson arrived, they warned him. They said, listen, I know you want to get this order, but I can tell you right now that you won't stand a chance if you take more than 5 minutes of Mr. Eastman's time. He's a strict disciplinarian, and he is very busy. So say what you got to say and get the hell out of there. Adamson unintentionally stumbled on a different approach. And he spoke to Mr. Eastman. He said, I've been admiring your office. I wouldn't mind working in a room like this myself. I'm in the interior woodworking business, and I never saw a more beautiful office in all my life. To which Eastman responded, you remind me of something I had almost forgotten. It is beautiful, isn't it? I enjoyed it a great deal when it was first built, but I come down here now with a lot of other things on my mind, and sometimes don't even see the room for weeks at a time. Adamson walked over and rubbed his hand across the panel. This is English oak, isn't it? A little different texture from the Italian oak. Yes, Eastman excitedly replied. Imported English oak. It was selected for me by a friend who specializes in fine woods. Then Eastman showed him about the room, commenting on the proportions, the coloring, the hand carving, and other effects he had helped to plan and execute. And before you know it, an hour passed and they were approaching 2 hours of time. And how did Adamson get this? By appealing to Eastman, and got himself invited to lunch with Mr. Eastman. Who do you think got the order to procure the seats for the Eastman School of Music and also Kilburn Hall in Rochester? You guessed it, Mr. Adamson did. Learn from this. Learn how the simple act of caring is heroic. Let us bring this ship back to harbor. What we focused on today has withstood the test of time. These lessons date back to BC. Bring these habits into your day-to-day and watch the magic that it works on the relationships that you have. May it blossom your connections. If someone means a lot to you, make sure you remind them every day how important they are to you, and with your actions make them feel important. I'll leave you with this. Talk to people about themselves, and they will listen for hours. Part 2, Principle 6. Make the other person feel important and do it sincerely. We thank you so much for spending your time with us today at Bookshelf Brilliance. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Bookshelf_Brilliance so you can stay up to date with the podcast in between episodes. We'll be back soon with our first episode from Part 3, focusing on how to win people to your way of thinking. That will kick off with a great topic with Chapter 1, You Can't Win an Argument. That's it for us here on Bookshelf Brilliance, where timeless knowledge meets modern insight. We'll see you next time.